Hello and welcome to a Star Citizen Persistent Universe monthly report, going over what CIG have been working on over the last few weeks in terms of the development that's gone into the MMO that is Star Citizen and what they're focused on now in July 2024. Ranging from new ships and features, and for Alpha 4.0 and even a 1.0 commercial release work towards that. This is the best we get in terms of a deep dive of the development each month from the devs, and I'll try to give some extra context where I can and summarize these bits and bobs that they're talking about. There is progress with the RSI Polaris, that torpedo corvette. It's getting close to finishing the interior for grey box review now. The exterior is heading toward final content with the parallax occlusion mapping and lighting being completed. There's a couple of other things we know about the Polaris. You're not going to be able to fire the torpedoes from the pilot station, or at least there's going to be a separate station for the sort of torpedo access and functionality. They're also making its weapons bigger, so its non-torpedo weapons bigger, so that it's still a threat and a powerful corvette even while it's not using its torpedoes. The Zeus Mark II, at least one of them, is approaching its final content review. Now, you can expect to see those ships later in the year. There are 7 unannounced vehicles being worked on too. 4 are approaching the white box review stage, 2 are heading towards grey box review, and the last is nearly finished. So unannounced, it's not things like the Legionnaire that we know is in the works at the moment, but it probably is the one that's nearly finished, if not already finished, is the new Sabre variant, which is potentially a sort of quantum interdictor, interceptor sort of ship. We'll have to wait and see. And potentially there's also a Crusader starter ship that they're going to be unveiling later. At least that was the rumour. For locations in the verse, the landing zone team spent part of the last few weeks fixing bugs for cargo, alongside adding to the variety of modules available for Pyro stations. Alongside this, the organics team progressed with asset creation for new biomes that will go on to new planets in the future. They also closed out the acidic cave archetype. The lighting team focused on work for 4.0, including helping with those tasks and outpost locations as well. They are currently dialing in the atmosphere for all of the Pyro planets and moons to give each a unique look and feel. The in-game branding team made significant progress, including on the new navigational signage for Pyro and graffiti of Ruin Station. They also started work on a new location alongside the landing zone team. Core gameplay. So this is some relatively big stuff here. Maelstrom, the ship and building destruction stuff, was recently integrated into the main dev stream and is now actively being used by the devs in all the work. So they have that as part of the main stream, so all teams can effectively use it. This provides a fresh set of features, such as a new unified mesh format grid, which supports large vehicle destruction. It also provides tools to link gameplay events with destruction sequences, such as shatter, break, and integrity changes, as well as being able to be much more optimal when used with Vulkan. The implementation of the transit refactor began. This includes setting up basic component and entity classes for destinations, gateways, and gateway peripherals. They've set up some new debug tools as part of that. The transit engineers also continued supporting the upcoming Alpha 3.24 release. For radar and scanning, work was completed to allow FPS ping to be used from certain seats, the first being in vehicles that lack their own radar. They also resolved several issues when using an FPS radar within vehicle zones to detect things outside. Work continued on highlighting effects caused by FPS ping, with the devs now able to apply different colors to different factors such as hostility. I'm hoping this will also come with, having people that are neutral as their own color, having people that are part of your organization as another color, but I suppose that's more sort of HUD stuff than necessarily scanning and radar pinging. They are fine-tuning this now. Support began for new vehicle brackets, including nameplate and distance, and parameters were added to control when and how they should show in different states, such as targeted and pinned. The removal of scan operator mode started as well, which is going to be replaced with ADS scanning, which assumedly is aim down sight scanning, I believe. So I'll have you having a more sort of hands-on scan, I think, although I'm not 100% sure. They are working on specialist functionalities. For example, medical scanners may see health information, while police scanners can detect contraband. An improvement was made to the radar system, allowing faster scan speeds while maintaining performance. Support continued for radar with the room query system that allows for the occlusion of people behind locked doors. A new mechanic was implemented as well, delta signatures. This mechanic has vehicles emit signatures when certain actions are performed, such as ping activation, the activation of quantum boost, and changing of master modes. UI will notify players when they detect a delta signature was implemented too. So the reason you'd want that when it's changing master modes is so you can see if someone's going from flight to fight or vice versa, right? For Arena Commander, the team focused on the new front-end style, the FPS Horde mode, and back-end support. For that FPS Horde mode, the team implemented the Subsumption mission alongside a way to define spawn wave data. Design will soon begin reviewing the map and marking it up for AI ahead of the Spawn Closet Engineers becoming available post Alpha 3.24. A playtest was conducted on an EVO only map, Gundo, which I believe is the Gundo Covlex hub, with the sort of mission with Darnell and all that sort of stuff, the investigation one. Due to limitations with that location causing balance concerns, this map will not be released and will instead be used for rapid in-situation developer iteration of the EVA system. So assumedly that's talking about Arena Commander again. One of the narrative team's bigger focuses has been their continued support of the upcoming cargo gameplay, which included writing new mission text. The team also dedicated time towards Star Citizen 1.0, diving deeper into the new content of that patch and what it will bring in the future. Part of this will fall onto narrative design, who will further expand the presence of social AI in the verse. Narrative also began building out the mission text and lore for a future large-scale event mission. Animation, they continue to fix technical issues with the Copian animals and animate assets and the creation of new animations for numerous creatures. The character art team progressed with 3 specialist armors, finalized the update to the utility armor, and supported requests for the character customizer. Art det for looting items was worked on too. The character concept art team continued exploring designs for utility armors and completed a handoff for specialist armors, while the hair team kicked off new beards and hairstyles. The economy team, they progressed with tasks for Pyro, including setting up shops and sorting out any related missions. They also continued implementing the effort versus reward algorithm so that mission rewards are balanced according to the risk and time invested by the player. Support was provided for the coming changes to cargo and cargo missions. They worked to rebalance the prices for entire sets of items, including vehicle components, power plants, coolers, shields, quantum drives, etc., FPS weapon attachments, ammunition, consumables, and commodities. Their ongoing work involves a new economy for quantum and hydrogen fuel to ensure that refueling isn't a chore, while maintaining the narrative feel of a large universe with unique economies spread across different star systems. They're also creating player profiles to better understand how different careers gain and use resources. The Interactables team are finishing off liquid containers, which will be used in the upcoming blockade runner missions. Hazardous containers were worked on too, with the team taking all sizes to final following destructibility tests. Some engine, tech, and online services stuff. So the online services team worked towards completing the social services backend overhaul. This will boost the performance and scalability of social functionalities, including chat, friends, and groups at higher volumes, and with new features like creating and joining a party from within the Spectrum web portal. They integrated a new version of Easy Anti-Cheat. They progressed with potential features for 4.0. This included significant overhauls to the mission and marker systems, as well as the development of the player trading functionalities, which align with the overarching objective of achieving server meshing. The networking team continued to work towards the first version of server meshing. This included testing various configurations for the mesh and the underlying cloud infrastructure, while capturing critical performance information to help fine-tune and target bottlenecks. The stability, performance, and memory usage of Vulkan continue to improve and is now much closer to being the default choice for Star Citizen. Eventually they are going to phase out the other graphics options. It is going to be Vulkan. The team have also been in contact with AMD, Nvidia and Intel to diagnose and fix various driver issues as they plod towards a actual release of 1.0. There was also progress with global illumination, gas clouds, new shaders, lifetime management of entities, fire hazards, burn and dirt effects. Visual improvements were also added to creatures, such as the ability to spawn decals from GPU particles. GPU terrain generation was implemented as a stepping stone to the team's plans for fully GPU generated virtualized terrain, which will be utilized in Planet Tech version 5. An efficient query mechanism is also being designed and added to planets. This will be used by the new location scatter tool that will help populate planets for Star Citizen 1.0. AI features have been improving the behaviors of grouped NPCs for a more consistent combat experience. To do this, they've added an object representing the group that shares perception information about targets at the appropriate time. This allows the designers to tailor combat experiences to the specific demands of the mission by deciding who is and isn't drawn into combat when it starts. It allows them to cheat a behavior for situations where communication between group members would be expected, e.g. via radio, preventing NPCs from doing a full first reaction when they would already know about the fight. There's a new AI team, the Game Intelligence Development Tools team. They are improving AI tools and processes, as well as helping implement longer-term AI functionalities, including the quantum simulation, the battle system, and the commenter model. I don't actually know the finer details of exactly what the latter two of those are, the battle system and the commenter model, but I'm going to be looking into that. It's obviously some of the stuff they've talked about, it's just under different umbrellas. AI tech have been optimizing parts of the vision system used by NPCs, which involved moving parts of NPC visibility check computation to the client. This will help when there are multiple players on the same server, giving improvements to reaction time and frame rate. They are also investigating better ways to synchronize AI data between servers and clients in preparation for server meshing, which will allow for a smoother transition by keeping the same context when NPCs move from one server to another. As a test, they serialized more data into AI components like path and movement requests. On the ship AI side, functionality was added to point defense cannons that allows them to track and shoot missiles. Improvements were also made to NPCs following leaders in formation, so they'll match their speed and adjust role based on the leader and NPC ship orientation. Boom! That's it for your Star Citizen monthly report for the sort of persistent universe this month. I am really excited to see all of that work going into 4.0 and beyond. I do think 4.0 is actually going to have a lot more features and at least a lot more minor improvements and stuff like that as well, all bundled together, that they have yet to really put on the roadmap. There's a lot of ships that are being worked on as well. Now, there's going to be tons that are released during the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, but I suppose we also have CitizenCon coming up. 7 unannounced though. I mean, well, I say 7. If you include the sort of Sabre variant and potentially that Crusader starter ship, maybe it's 5. But it may, yeah, I mean, have they technically announced that new Sabre variant? Sort of John Crew did talk about it in a off-the-cuff manner in a Star Citizen Live. But what do you think those ships are going to be? Are you excited for the new locations and Pyro and 4.0 work? What about Maelstrom and that ship and terrain destructibility stuff? I say terrain, it's probably more likely just buildings and certain other bits of terrain. Are you looking forward to a dynamic, more robust economy? Just quickly as well at the end, in terms of some bits that you might want to know, Alpha 3.24 is in EVOCATI at the moment, probably going to go to first wave PTU imminently or pretty soon, within the next few days. And then they're sort of pushing towards 3.24, that cargo patch, potentially to live by the end of July if we are lucky. We've then got 4.0 as the next major patch, which is roughly pegged between sort of end of summer, so end of September, and a CitizenCon in October. And they will be working on other Star Citizen patches beyond that, with 4.1 and that sort of stuff coming next year, potentially at the end of the year for 4.1, but much more likely start of 2025. But the next major milestone is a 1.0 commercial release, and CIG are going to be starting to share their sort of roadmap on that later this year, assumedly at CitizenCon. Tell me in the comments below, whatever.
I'm a futuristic cyborg sent back in time for one purpose. Give me your boots, your jacket, and your nordvpn.com/boredgamer. Get NordVPN if you want to live on the internet. It's the only thing that will protect you against Skynet and my Terminator impression.
It gives you greater accessibility, security, and privacy on the internet as well. You should use the links below. Every month, we have a ship giveaway. For July, we're giving away a Constellation Taurus. This workhorse allows you to do some solid cargo running, as well as some combat and room for a small crew. It's just a great all-round mission runner and awesome ship to experience Star Citizen with. This comes with access to the game and lifetime insurance as well. All you need to do to be in for a chance of winning that is comment on any of my videos made during July. Each video is another chance to win. More details in the description below. Please consider supporting the channel with the join button under my videos or via Patreon, links below to all of that. It goes a long way in helping us to be able to make daily Star Citizen content and Zin's lore videos, all that sort of jazz. Thank you so much to all the glorious members that already do that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You can always help as well by sharing, liking, subscribing, and getting involved in the comments section. And thank you very much for those of you that watched to the end. It is appreciated.